This broadcast is brought to you in part by Hendricks Chevrolet, celebrating 75 years in the Valley, and State Center Community College District, covering Fresno, Reedley, Oakhurst, Madera, and Clovis. Thank you for your support.
CMAC, your Community Media Access Collaborative, presents high school football from McLane Stadium in central Fresno. It's the McLane High School Highlanders and the Sunnyside High School Wildcats. Dan Taylor, Fred Clark with you again. The team's on the field ready for kickoff. Fred, this is a very prolific offense that McLane has got to try and stop tonight.
Yes, Sunnyside, they have put up almost 3,000 yards in the air in 8 games. Big scores. They haven't had a real close game with the exception of Roosevelt, which they won 16-7. Every other game has been very one-sided, 6 wins and 2 defeats. The Highlanders, on the other hand, well, more on this after the kickoff.
The short pooch kicked, and it will be whistle dead. And that's where the Highlanders will begin playing tonight from about the 35-yard line.
And the Highlanders, they come in with a record of 4-4, and of their 8 games, 6 of them have been decided by 1 score. And they had a game against Mission Prep over in San Luis Obispo, and the game against Torres a month ago that were somewhat one-sided, but other than that, they played very competitive ball, and they have the work cut out for them tonight.
Highlanders come in with a 3-2 record. They sit 4th in the North Yosemite League. Sunnyside still undefeated at 5-0 on top of the NYL standings. Noah Zamora, the quarterback, with a give, and off to the races we go to start. A good 16-yard gain. Jordan Stewart, the ball carrier, going around the far sideline. With a big gain to start the night for the McLane Highlanders.
And Sunnyside was somewhat surprised by that, Dan. They were flat-footed at the line of scrimmage and gave Stewart about a 15-yard gain. Good start for the Highlanders, something to build on.
We have seen differing efforts this season in our games involving Sunnyside, a 21-22 penalty game in that Roosevelt game that made for a very close battle, and then a couple of weeks ago, or last week, saw them and it was a big blowout. So they're a team that is quite explosive. They give to the near side. Terrific running room. He could go all the way and will, in fact, a touchdown for the Highlanders. Desir Newhouse with a score.
Touchdown, Highlanders!
And with 50 seconds gone in the game, McLane has got we have a flag down, Dan.
I am looking and I don't see the flag, but I see players pointing toward an area.
Right on the 49-yard line, right in the middle of the field. Holding on McLane.
Sure love to see that one again, because the direction that they were pointing where the infraction occurred, my question is, did it impact the play? Perhaps it did. They're a lot better at this than I am, but boy, Desir Newhouse with a tremendous running effort to get into the end zone 60 yards away. But unfortunately, the penalty is going to take this one back to the 40-yard line.
And all the superlatives we're about to dish out, we'll keep to ourselves at this time.
So another first down play, only now it's 1st and 20 from the McLane 40-yard line. Zamora with a quick out pass. He's got some blockers set up, but they're not able to make that play come together at all.
Good pursuit by the Wildcats, shut that down for no gain at all.
TJ McMillan on the receiving end.
Looked like it showed some promise right after the pass was caught, but Sunnyside reacted quick.
So 2nd down and 20 for the Highlanders. Couple of receivers flanked to the top of your screen. Big blitz.
They're going to call grounding on that because there was not an eligible receiver in sight. That landed at the left guard's ankles, and there was nobody close to that.
Well, that was Tanner Wilson, who doubles as the Sunnyside quarterback, who was blitzing and left Zamora with nothing to do but to release the football.
So that'll cost the Highlanders a loss of down and 5 more yards. So it's third and like 25 to go, Dan.
Keeping it on the ground, and they're going to lose 5. So it makes it 4th and 30 after 3rd and 25.
The handoff is to Jordan Stewart, a trio of Wildcats.
Well, the Highlanders' first 2 plays showed a lot of promise. The last few, not quite so much.
So the Highlanders will punt this football away. C.J. Jones, the terrific sophomore for Sunnyside High, will await at about the 40-yard line. Quick kick away, and they're trying to keep it away from Jones. It'll bounce at the Sunnyside 28 and be down. And the terrific offense of the Sunnyside Wildcats will come onto the field for the first time tonight, led by their quarterback, Tanner Wilson. Wilson has thrown for 2,801 yards and thrown 32 touchdown passes in 8 games.
Yeah, he's got a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Not bad for high school.
Not at all.
Just a sophomore.
Spreads it around pretty well. C.J. Jones with 11 of those touchdown catches. Barnes and Burton each with 9. 3 receivers, top of the screen. Throws to Jones to the near side and driven out of bounds. Pickup of about 6 yards up to the Wildcat 35-yard line.
And the Wildcats, this is definitely a pass-first offense. They do have something of a running game, but they usually set up the pass to get the running game established.
And they like to get it going quickly. Out of the shotgun. Off the right tackle, big gain. Bulls his way down to the 44-yard line of the Highlanders.
Daquan Jones, he found a little bit of daylight and exploited that for a huge gain. That was a good job on the Sunnyside line, just blowing the Highlanders back.
Jones comes off the field after that run. Go to the 44-yard line. In motion, that's Burton. Wilson, quick hitter. Jones trying to spin, loses the football. Highlanders and the Wildcats scramble for it, and it appears Tanner Wilson was able to get it back.
Wilson's pass is complete. Receiver fumbles, and somehow the Wildcats are
A good job on Wilson. You know, right when he went down, he made sure his shoulder was between the ball and the Highlander coming up fast.
Second down from the 50.
Run. Good. And the run going nowhere, stopped in the backfield. Loss of perhaps a yard or 2. Spots the ball now at the McLane 49-yard line.
Once again by multiple Highlanders leading the pack.
And third down now for Sunnyside.
Third down. Highlander hype zone, make some noise. It's
Wilson gets the play call from Gordon Wood, his head coach, over on the sideline.
DJ, 2-by-1, wing, got a wing. Pass, here it comes.
Little play action, gonna go deep. Nope, flushed from the pocket, he's looking to run. He's got room to run. A couple of Highlanders wrestle him down just after crossing the 45-yard line.
And Wilson has a lot of range when he's running too. He's got deceptive speed. And again, just a sophomore, Dan. He's only going to get better. And fourth down, and Wilson's also the punter, which adds another dimension to the Wildcats.
You, an old special teams coach, have to like that.
Oh yeah, geez, if you have a talented player like that can be your kicker and your punter, it just opens up all kinds of avenues for fun. It surprises me a little bit. Sunnyside doesn't really like to punt the ball away when their opponents, well,
It looks like somebody was a little anxious to get off the line of scrimmage there.
And that was definitely a fake. You know, Wilson was going to the side and looked like he had some room. Big break for the Highlanders.
Going to move the football back another 5 yards, and it'll put it with the nose of the football on the 50-yard line.
And McLane's going to have to compensate for that. When you have a swift quarterback there, you just can't expect that he's going to punt.
Newhouse back to receive the punt.
Get some of that Australian rules kicking.
Takes a Sunnyside bounce inside the 10-yard line where the Wildcats down it, and McLane will begin their drive.
Wilson's punt is down by his fellow Wildcats. Down at the
I see over at Ratcliffe Stadium, Hoover has a 7-6 lead over Madera South, and Dan, don't grab your heart.
Hoover coming in 1-4 in North Yosemite League play, and Madera South doing some chasing. They're hoping somewhere in these next couple of weeks that the final 2 weeks of the season that Sunnyside might get ambushed and they have a chance for a share of the title.
Yeah, and they would have to beat Torres up in one of those inner city battles in Madera with the new little brother Torres definitely making a statement. They beat the Coyotes in the opening game of the season. The Coyotes came back and beat the Stallions, and now should be a good game next Friday in Madera.
Absolutely. Highlanders keeping it on the ground. Picks up a couple of yards up the middle there.
Wildcat defense was expecting that play. McLane still got about 3 yards out of that. They really compensated heavy on the right side.
handoff gains 3 yards.
So they're going to give him a gain of 3, make it 2nd down and 7.
You know, as we said last week when Sunnyside beat Torres, Torres had the good battle plan. Try and keep the ball on the ground, eat up some time, get a few first downs, keep Sunnyside's explosive offense off the field, and it worked for a little while.
Certainly McLane trying to replicate that tonight. Zamora going up top. He's got a receiver who has gotten behind the defender, but he overthrew him.
Had his man open in single coverage.
Should mention that just to our left, members of the McLane coaching staff, if you hear some hollering and yelling.
It always adds a little bit of dimension in the press box when you have 3 or 4 assistants for one of the teams. It can get quite animated. But here at McLane Stadium, there's no glass to throw a clipboard through. So I don't think we're going to have any injuries to the fans down below.
So big 3rd down play. 3rd and 7 for the Highlanders. Zamora brings his teammates up to the line of scrimmage. He'll operate, well, looks like more from the, well, he'll operate from the shotgun. Trying to go to the air. He's got a receiver. Threw it right to the defender who takes it in untouched for a touchdown. And Sunnyside strikes first.
And right when that left Zamora's hands, he regretted that. I mean, the young man on Sunnyside, he just looked that in. He knew what was happening, cut right on it, and the easiest touchdown you could make.
Jan Vang with the interception takes it back the 11 yards for a score. And Sunnyside is on the board first.
And Vang is a backup quarterback for the Wildcats. He saw a lot of action last year behind center, so he sees that coming. He's not going to let that one get away. And as usual, the Wildcats will be going for 2.
And they've been successful 20 times this season on 2-point attempts.
And they got a free play here too, which they didn't need.
Leaping grab in the back of the end zone.
And Dan, what did you say their success rate was on?
24 via run, 16 via the pass.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. And they're waving off the penalty flag. So the 2-point is good.
Well, they didn't, if it was a penalty, McLane did cross the line a little bit early. It's all a moot point. 7-0, and we're almost 7 minutes into the game.
8-0 now in favor of the Wildcats, and
8-0.
their offense hasn't been the ones to put it in the end zone. They do it with the defense.
Yeah, I'm used to saying 7-0 after a touchdown. When Sunnyside plays, you have to correct me. It's either going to be 6 or 8.
That's right. That's right. That's very rare. 22-point conversions. Well, now 21 in a season. It's very unique. Some teams don't do that ever.
Well, ever since Gordon Wood's been at Sunnyside, he likes to go for the 2-point conversion, particularly on the first touchdown. And now he just pretty much does it all the time.
Well, at the high school level, point after is not the automatic point that it is at higher levels, collegiate or the professionals. And we've talked before, Fred, that it's a little surprising that more football coaches don't try and go find a top soccer player out of the soccer, men's or women's soccer program, and find a kicker who can help them out.
You know you're not going to get an argument out of me with that one.
It's rare when I can't get an argument, and it's no fun.
Well, when it comes to really spot-on special teams comment, I'm usually going for it.
So the kickoff went out of bounds. McLane will begin this possession from their own 35-yard line. 8-0 Sunnyside, our score. On the pick 6, Ivian Vang.
Of the bleachers. Once again, you don't want to do the powder toss. Please move towards the sides of the bleachers.
Zamora is going to be up under center. Give to the back. Looks like a gain of about maybe 3 yards. As they continue this effort to just pound the football.
McLane's offensive line, they've got to get a little bit better push on this. Or just, our running back was fortunate to get a couple of yards on that one because there just wasn't much here, and they're going to have to get on that off that line a little bit quicker.
Zamora once again up under center. A rarity these days in high school football. And he's going to roll out. They had that play stopped, and that'll put the ball back at about the 33-yard line.
Castaneda tried to make something happen when he bought the ball in, but if he would have broke that tackle, there were 2 more waiting for him.
So going to be 3rd down, and they'll spot it back at the original line of scrimmage. So 3rd and 10 for the Highlanders. Back of the shotgun formation. Quick hitter over the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, incomplete. And now we're at 4th down, and McLane's got to get rid of the football.
Well, this will be their 2nd punt and 1 pick 6, and the Highlanders are going to have to try and get something going there on the side, because I'm not going to outright criticize the play calling, but even if that one would have been bought in, it's going to be well short of a 1st down.
C.J. Jones, the deep man, they want to keep it away from him, and it's kicked toward the near sideline.
Nice high
Jones
punt.
Lets it bounce. Oh, it bounced right about an inch inbounds, so Jones takes it, and he's going to try to make something out of it, and can't, and he slips and goes down to the 20-yard line.
And with Jones' explosiveness, I don't question what he's going to do at all, and he was just on the brink of making something big happen, but the ball went back about 10 yards with that, but Sunnyside has a habit of making up for those. So their 2nd offensive drive coming up.
And the Highlanders giving the receivers quite a lot of cushion, playing quite deep in the secondary. Run up the middle. Bursts through. He's got 5. Now he's up at about 10, 11-yard gain.
Another nice push by the Sunnyside O-line.
Sunnyside run by Jenkins. Picks up more than enough for the Wildcat 1st down.
Doubles.
Jenkins, the running back. Takes the ball again. Picks up another 5 yards before being brought down.
Well, number 77, Matt Vallejo for the Wildcats just one play ago, just created all kinds of space for his back.
Doubles, doubles, doubles.
Second five.
Pass. He wants that deep ball.
Wilson to the near sideline and down on his knees making the catch. Dixon, or correction,
Tanner Wilson
Burton,
completes
Sanjay Burton.
to Sanjay Burton.
Oh, he made a catch last week
Doubles, doubles.
First and 10
against
ball,
Torres,
Wilson
just
45.
big time catch. A lot of talent on this team.
Wilson with a
Good,
give.
good.
Stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Highlanders got a lot of men there in the box on that. They had a pretty good idea of what was coming.
Once again, multiple Highlanders on the stop.
2:22 inside of 2:20 now in the first quarter. 8-0 Sunnyside on the pick six by Van Vang.
That's all they've been doing on this series. Doubles, doubles, doubles. Running back, running back.
Wilson forced out of the pocket. Ooh, boy, he was close to the line of scrimmage there, and he overthrew his receiver.
Down, money down.
Wilson looking for
I think
Burton.
he caught himself right at the end. I think he wanted to make a run for it, but then right at the last second, good ball sense there by Wilson, knowing where that imaginary line was.
What happened to Pearson? Is he good? Trips, trips, trips right, trips right.
It's a big third down play now for the Wildcats. Wilson rolling to the near side. Got a receiver open, but it's just out of the reach of Malachi Barnes. Tough throw for a quarterback to make.
Wilson's
Rolling to his left like that.
They're punting.
A right-handed quarterback, I should say.
I was going to point something else out there, but I'm not going to now because you caught that. And you know, you had pointed out earlier, McLane's playing back, and I'd like to see him play a little bit closer, a little bit more physical.
Well, so with Sunnyside, because Sunnyside is trying to pound the football and bring those DBs up to free up the passing game a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So on fourth down, Wilson,
Watch it, watch it.
what's he going to do? Rolling. Now he's going to throw the football, and he's got a receiver. Is it complete? Indeed it is. So Malachi Barnes hauls it in for a big first down.
And much to the frustration of the Sunnyside coaches, the McLane coaches that are up here, and they've got to account for this because Wilson is not just your regular punter. I mean, he's a talented quarterback, and you just can't let that happen.
So it'll be first and 10 Sunnyside from the
So Sunnyside now with a big first down at the 37-yard line of the Highlanders as Tanner Wilson
Run, run,
is going to
run.
keep it himself, looking for some running room, and he's got it. Picks up 5, even more. He's got a first down heading toward the end zone, and he's ridden out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
Well, being the son of a football coach,
Tanner Wilson on the run.
Wilson's been watching this stuff since he was just a little kid, and he just has things that are they're natural to him. You know, it's not robotic at all. Those were two good moves he had getting that first down.
On the 21.
Well, at the 21-yard line, Wilson looks for a receiver. Into the end zone he throws. He's got a man who's drifted behind the secondary, and the ball is knocked from the grasp of the intended receiver.
He had his man beat, just couldn't quite pull it in. Did we have that one again?
Wilson looking for Burton. Good coverage by the duo of Highlanders.
We saw that last week against Torres, where Torres really had some good coverage, and these Wildcat receivers are able to bring that in.
Hey, trips, trips.
Sanjay Burton there, the intended receiver, as he heads back to his slot position. Wilson hits his man, near side, trying to break loose of a tackle, unable to do so.
DJ, money down, third down.
It's one of the
Let's bring up
dangerous,
third down.
or Shamir Jones, one of the dangerous Jones trio out here on offense for the Wildcats.
A little short of the first down marker.
Dan, you said just 6 seniors on this Wildcats team.
That's all.
Hopefully we'll see them in the CMAC next
Well, they're going to be
year.
creating some damage in the next couple of years. There's no question. As Wilson and Jones, here's Jones with the football, trying to cut it up. Play that we see Fresno State
No, that he better not up.
utilized quite often. And both Jones and Wilson, a mere sophomore, so we'll see them for 2 more years.
He's still short of the.
Well, with some of the realignment that we'll see, I would really like to see, well, it's at the end of the quarter. I would really like to see Sunnyside playing some stiff league competition. As the tougher the competition, the better these guys are going to get, and I would like to see them step it up where they'd be playing Bullard, Sanger, San Joaquin Memorial.
Well, their 2 defeats this year both came in non-league, their second and third games of the season. Kingsburg, which has been having a tremendous season, clobbered them in the second game of the year, and then they went out to Kerman and were defeated out there in the third game of the year.
Which, when you would see that when they started out 1-2, you were thinking, is this team ready for prime time yet? And it's really tough to get a gauge on them. Kerman and Kingsburg in particular, that is a really good football team, but I thought that would be a lot closer game than it was. So, but when the playoffs come, if Sunnyside gets into D2, that'll answer a lot of the questions we have on this team.
So the team switching ends, and it's 4th down for the Wildcats at the 12-yard line. Terrific turnout tonight.
McLane has been drawn really good so far this year. Now, they're 4-4 overall, 3-2 in league, but this team has really improved over last season. And I'll put an asterisk on that right now.
You see all the pink in the stands. It's Tackle to Cure night. It's a night to create awareness of cancer. Yeah, the cheerleaders with pink pom-poms, the Wildcats with a commemorative uniform with pink numbers tonight. Wilson with the football. Loses the handle on the football. Did McLane get it? No, it's still loose. Still being
loose.
Someone pick it up.
And the Highlanders claim they got it. I'm not sure about that. I believe a couple of the big linemen.
Kind of a moot point anyway on 4th down. But it looked like we might have a pickup and a run there for a few moments.
Indeed. McLane did pick it up, and McLane does take over possession of the football. So
we have a big pink fog cloud over on the north side of the stadium.
Indeed, the students having fun at midfield across the way.
I'm glad.
Here's another look at that. As you see Wilson, as he turned it up and was stripped of the football very alertly by the Highlander defender. But here's where it gets crazy, is that football is all over the place.
Yeah, it looked like Wilson had yardage here too. Just got stripped.
Little toss sweep by the Highlanders. May have gotten a yard, but more than likely only got back to the line of scrimmage. Jordan Stewart, the ball carrier from McLane.
No gain on the run, 2nd and 10.
How far back do you want him? Or do you want him like opposite of Gustavo or what? Do what you think. I think that might work. Timeout, coach.
Zamora trying to get his teammates into proper position, and
yeah, there was definitely confusion there, so McLean's going to use one of their timeouts and talk about it. And this gives me the opportunity to announce our officiating crew for this evening. Usually we like to do that right away. The referee is Sean Schaefer, the very competent white hat tonight. The umpire is Alfonso Torres. Head linesman is Patrick Atkins. Side judge is Jeff Schaefer. The back judge is Terry Ward. And the weather report at kickoff, which may be obsolete now, it was 81 degrees at kickoff. Absolute limp flags at the west side. There's not a leaf moving tonight. Just ideal. And the pink cloud at the north side of the stadium is just hanging.
There you see it on your screen.
No breeze to take it away. That might be here at the end of the half, Dan.
It is a terrific night, a beautiful night for high school football, and a great night for fun and enthusiasm here at McLane Stadium in Central Fresno. Glad you have joined us tonight here on CMAC for high school football. I'm Dan Taylor with the coach Fred Clark. 8-0 Sunnyside on top here, 11 minutes to play in the second quarter of action in the North Yosemite League duel. The league leaders, the team in the white, the Sunnyside High Wildcats. Zamora with a quick out pass went right through the hands of the intended receiver.
And that was totally dangerous, Dan. There were 5 Sunnyside defenders right there. They were fortunate that wasn't picked off, and Sunnyside has really been doing their film work. They're being tipped off of what's going on, because most every play the Highlanders are running, it looks like the Wildcats know what's coming off. They're going to have to execute a heck of a lot better if they're going to have an opportunity to stay in this game.
So 3rd and 10 now for the Highlanders. They've got to get out to the beyond their own 35-yard line to extend this possession. Zamora. Play whistle dead.
Okay, and very seldom does a penalty help you out. If that wouldn't have been an illegal motion on the Highlanders, the quarterback was probably going to get sacked for a big loss on that. So that 5 yards is minuscule compared to what was going to happen.
So now 3rd and 15.
It's going to make it a 3rd and long, the exact 3rd and 15. Ball on the 20.
A pair of receivers still on the near side. Zamora loses the handle on the football, and all he can do is fall on it to prevent further damage.
Other than that first play from scrimmage, the Highlanders have done nothing on offense. They got that 15-yard gain early on, and pretty much every play since then has been a disaster.
So 4th down and 21. And they'll be punting from down near the goal line.
And as good as Sunnyside is, Dan, this is not a defensive juggernaut.
Jordan Stewart to do the punting. He gets it away very quickly.
No return guy there. There is no return
And that
guy.
ball is going to roll all the way down to the Sunnyside 28-yard line, where the Highlanders will down it.
Beautiful punt.
And Sunnyside
Jordan
will take
Stewart
over.
on the punt.
10:03 to go till the half. 8-0 Sunnyside on top. Surprisingly, that score not coming from the Wildcats' prolific offense, but rather the defense. As Vang picked the ball off of the 11-yard line and took it all the way in for the touchdown.
Sunnyside right now, no offensive touchdown. We're well into the second quarter. A little bit of a surprise. Highlander defense hasn't been too bad.
There you see Tanner Wilson, the terrific young sophomore quarterback.
Roll out.
And he's going to throw on the run. He's got a man deep, wide open, complete at the 32-yard line. Now trying to shirk the defender and get to the end zone. And he slips and goes down to the 10-yard line.
Hold up, DJ. Hold on.
Looking
It's coming back.
to see.
Tanner Wilson.
That ball's coming back. See over the line of scrimmage, Dan? I don't see any flags down. Illegal receiver.
Ineligible receiver downfield.
Ineligible downfield. 5 yards, repeat down.
Over at San Joaquin Memorial, the Panthers have got a 24-0 lead over Garza in the first quarter. And Garza playing in the CMAC, their first real second season of football, but they played freshmen last year. And so it's pretty much an all-sophomore team, and they probably shouldn't be in the CMAC. But they're taking their lumps tonight at Memorial, and they've been taking them since league started.
So the penalty pushes the football back to the 23-yard line of the Wildcats.
2 by 1.
We've seen more ineligible men downfield than we'd seen in a number of years this season.
Quick outlet to Barnes. As Barnes blasted and knocked out of bounds at the 33-34 yard line.
Wilson completing to Barnes.
That was one of those hits that would have knocked a mouthpiece out. That was a hit.
Loosened to Filling.
Yep.
The Wildcats gain some yards. Second down.
McLane continues to be in that very soft defense. The defensive backs a good 10 to 20 yards off the ball, off the line of scrimmage. Trying to set up, find a blocker.
And Sunnyside, this last couple of plays, they've noticed that. They're picking up on it. They're going to be throwing short and then letting their men make their move.
For the Wildcats.
C.J. Jones, the receiver on that play, brings the football out to the 42-yard line.
These games are such chess matches.
Wilson
Screen, get him!
under pressure.
God dang it, get him!
Picks up 5 and a lot more to the 40, to the 35. Needs a block, gets it, now trying to work his way free and is brought down at the 23, 24-yard line.
Flags down again, and this will be coming back.
And a personal foul penalty.
So personal foul called against the Wildcats.
And that's going to march off some very big yards.
Takes away just another one of those highlight plays by Wilson. Got to be frustrating. You make a couple of good moves, get a big gain, take a big hit right at the end of the play, and it all comes back.
Wonder if we can see that play once again and try to pick up what it is. The player that they seem to be consoling is Daquan Jones, the back. Don't know exactly the nature of the penalty. So it makes it 1st and 19 from the 33. Jones trying to get up to the 40-yard line. Clock ticking down, 7:40 left in the second quarter. Glad you've joined us here on CMAC for North Yosemite League football.
Second down.
Man in motion. Shamar Jones. Wilson hits C.J. Jones, trying to shirk the defender, but two defenders wrestle him back.
Good aggressive behavior there by the Highlanders. And they're undersized here. They're somewhat undermanned, but they're playing as good as they possibly can.
And what was your head count tonight? About 31 players suiting up for McLane?
Yeah.
They've had some issues, concussions and whatnot.
And it's the whatnot that's really been hurting them.
Jones in motion.
Got a guy
over
open.
the middle, wide open to C.J. Jones. Pulls it in, complete to the 45-yard line. Big first down. Correction, that was Malachi Barnes who pulls it in.
And Samora for the Highlanders looked like he had his hands on the ball and just got taken away from him. Big play there by the Wildcats.
Quickly up to the line of scrimmage. It was a big first down for the Wildcats. Wilson.
Here it comes. Yeah, go get him. Go
under
get him.
pressure. He's going to run. Goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
This is just frustration here for the Highlanders defense. It looked like they may have had a stop, maybe even an interception, and now looked like they may have had an opportunity to stop Wilson for a loss, and he slides away and gets a good gain out of it.
Well, the other side of that, though, the defensive back went up for that football, and C.J. Jones, who was a very talented receiver, you'll be seeing him on Saturdays in another couple of years, went up and just snatched the ball away from him, keeping it on the ground. There goes the big back, Daquan Jones, and he's got a first down to the 20-yard or 30-yard line.
Jones, the ball carrier. One of the tacklers.
As the clock keeps on ticking, 5:35 left until halftime. The Sunnyside offense on the march. The Wildcats' lone score being put up on the board by the defense. Wilson gonna throw. Throwing for the end zone. Wide open in the corner of the end zone.
This man gets over there just in time to disrupt them.
Absolutely.
That was Desir Newhouse, and he hit him just as the ball got there.
So 2nd down and 10 for the Wildcats.
Doubles. Got doubles, DJ.
Wilson off the fingertips of Malachi Barnes and almost intercepted.
It looked like Jones was the intended receiver on that too. His own man flipped it from him.
Highlander High Nation, if you haven't gotten out all game, now is the time. It's 3rd down.
C.J. Jones at the bottom of your screen. Malachi Barnes up at the top. Wilson looking. Hits C.J. Jones at the 30 to the 20. Now down to about the 15-yard line. And he's got another 1st down.
Jones, he doesn't just catch it and go down. He's always looking to make more yards. And he's long. He's got those long steps.
Doubles.
Got another 5 yards after the catch, gave him the 1st down.
Reminds you a bit of a Bernard Berrien.
The wide receiver coach over at Roosevelt.
That's right, former Chicago Bear and Minnesota Viking. Wilson, plenty of time. Now he's getting a bit of pressure.
Go. Yeah, there you go. Go. Chase him.
Wilson's going to run it. Cuts back to the 10-yard line. Still on his feet. Inside the 10 and goes into a slide, and down he goes.
And once again, the coaches for McLane up here are beside themselves. It looked like they may have been able to get Wilson for about a 15-yard loss, and he was able to squirt away. And once he got past those 3, there was nobody close, and then he made another 5 or 6 yards when people were drawn near. He just finds those holes.
So 1st and goal now from the 5-yard line for Sunnyside. Man in motion is going to get the ball. Malachi Barnes trying to cut up, find some room to get to the end zone, and is going to be wrestled out of bounds.
That's about as close as you can get without touching that end zone.
The short handoff to Malachi Barnes. Out just with the 1. 2nd and goal, Wildcats.
Highlanders have their big body line in there now.
2 by 1.
Football on the 1-yard line. Wilson looks like a busted play, and he is wrestled down at about the 3.
Wilson is stopped short of the goal line.
2 minutes and 55 seconds left in the half.
I thought we were going to see a handoff there too, and
Wilson thought so too.
Yeah. Then he was on an island.
3rd down.
Looks like some confusion,
Hey, timeout. They took a timeout.
and Sunnyside is going to burn one of their 3 timeouts.
Timeout, Sunnyside.
Yeah, there was some confusion there. It looks like
in the 1st half.
Yeah, usually Sunnyside doesn't look like they are rattled at all, and it's like they just draw it up, with their no huddle, and that was the first time I've seen any real confusion on those last 2 plays. And Dan, our pink cloud has finally dissipated.
big sigh of relief will blow it away.
Yep.
Again, pink, the color of the night here. The Sunnyside players wearing commemorative uniforms, pink numbers. The cheerleaders with pink T-shirts across the way on the Sunnyside, on the McLane side, I should say. The Sunnyside cheerleaders with pink pom-poms and ribbons in their hair, all on a cancer awareness night here at McLane Stadium.
Dan, like 20 years ago, Chris Terrence and I were doing a game out at Reedley, and some of the Reedley students had, those pixie sticks that have that flavored sugar? They were throwing that around, and the wind was bringing it right up into us. And that was really miserable. I mean, everything was sticky. The equipment, headsets, every part of us. I don't like pixie sticks anymore.
3rd and 3 for the Wildcats. Wilson gives to the back, and Daquan Jones is in for the touchdown.
That looked so nonchalant, it was almost comical.
It absolutely did.
That's Daquan Jones in for the short touchdown run.
So the Sunnyside offense manages to match the defense with a touchdown. Currently 14-0, but as we have seen and talked about, the Wildcats love going for two. Successful 21 times this season. Wilson spins. Now he's really under assault. Heaves it up. Tipped. Penalty flag flies.
That could be a pass interference on Sunnyside on that one.
We'll wait here.
So
What
it's
the
a 2 point, so it's going to be.
Tyler Worthy with the pick. That stops the 2-point conversion. So with 2:32.
Ineligible downfield on Sunnyside. That is going to be declined, and the extra point is no good.
Okay, how do you get an ineligible receiver downfield from the 3-yard line, or the 2-yard line?
The Sunnyside Wildcats 14. Your McLane Highlanders yet to score.
Next time I see Sean Schaefer, I'm going to ask him about that. Conceivably, yeah, it could happen, but not easily.
generally going to happen when a quarterback is scrambling for his life back there in the backfield, as we saw with Tanner Wilson.
Yeah, he was back at past the 30-yard line on that, wasn't he? Has a lot of confidence in himself to make plays, and we've seen him make them in situations very similar to that as he has tonight.
Tremendously strong arm, kind of a guy who can make something out of nothing. Then on that drive, took the team all the way in for their first offensive score of the night. It's 14-0.
Now the Highlanders are in a real precarious position right now, Dan. This Wildcats get the ball to start the second half. McLane needs to do something offensively, but you don't want to do anything too rash right now. You've got 2.5 minutes left. If you don't score, you don't want to give the Wildcats an opportunity to score again before the half, because being down 2 scores, hey, it doesn't look good, but it's still manageable. When you're down 3 scores to offensive juggernaut like this, you really have to have a problem. So the Highlanders got to be real cautious what they do here. We have a personal foul on the, besides the missed extra point and the ineligible man downfield, there's a personal foul by the Wildcats, so they're going to have to kick off from their own 25. So the Highlanders should get some pretty good field position. And it is Wilson kicking off again.
Watch the onside kick.
Okay.
There it is, there it is. Can't touch it.
Well, the question is, was that touched by the Sunnyside player before the ball had traveled 10 yards? And the officials are not having a conversation about it. Doesn't seem to be an issue.
Yeah, I thought one of the Wildcats touched it before it went to 10 and batted it back, but they're going to have to discuss this.
In fact, the officials are assembled. Let's hear.
Are you shit?
Yeah, let's see a replay.
Oh, they're
on
awarding
this.
the football to Sunnyside.
Yeah, so do we have a replay on that? I want to see if the ball went 10 yards on that.
That's going to be interesting. That's a very important call.
I don't get that. That didn't look like you touched it.
If there's any chance,
Okay,
here we go.
here's
Ball on the field has gone the way of the Wildcats.
it went to 10.
It did go 10 yards. It was right at about the
First and 10.
10-yard mark. So
Yeah, he hit it about the 36 or 37-yard line, so that was legit. Oh, that was a good kick.
So Sunnyside recovering the football and the onside kick. Wilson going up top. Nice leaping grab by C.J. Jones, about a yard shy of the first down marker, and 3 McLane defenders wrestle him down.
Boy, the Highlander defense right now, they're probably a little bit tired. They got to have some frustration because Sunnyside converted on a couple of third downs. They think they're going to get off, get a little bit of a rest, and Sunnyside's got it again.
Daquan Jones, big hole, down to the 30-yard line before he's brought down.
Still plenty of time here for the Wildcats. Ball down right at the 30-yard line.
We're at the 2-minute mark now. Clock started once again. 1:55 in the first half. Sunnyside driving at the 30-yard line of the Highlanders. Low snap, Wilson looking, steps up out of the pocket, has a receiver. He goes up top, and it's deflected away from the receiver, incomplete. McLane has been doing a good job of getting pressure on Wilson, but he is so athletic that he's able to run around back there and escape.
Yeah, he buys himself a lot of time.
And with his strong arm, he can make something happen regardless of whether he's set up in the pocket or on the run. Official taking a timeout.
Yeah, Dan, on that onside kick, it didn't look like the officials were properly placed for it because they were kind of like looking at each other, but they don't have the benefit of the replay. But as it turns out, well, it was a correct non-call.
So with 1:40 to play here in the first half, the give goes to Daquan Jones. Finds a hole, turns his way to about a 5-yard gain down near the 25-yard line. Looks as though they'll spot it at the 24 and give him 6.
That's still, that is a gutsy play, an onside kick from the 25. I like that.
Third down and 4. Wilson looking for a receiver. He's got a bit of pressure. Throws it, just unloads it, and that'll bring up 4th down. Then, of course, the way the Wildcats think, 4th down's no big deal.
No.
And we've seen so far tonight, they have pulled off some big 3rd and 4th down conversions.
And that's one of the few times I've seen Wilson throw the ball away like that. Usually he will put it up in the vicinity of one of his large, talented receivers.
1:06 left in the half. 4th and 4. Wilson. He has a receiver, but he doesn't see him. Now he's going to run. Now he sees the receiver. He's got him wide open for the touchdown.
Well, Wilson bought himself some time, bought the Highlander defense up when it looked like he might run, and left his man wide open.
With 56 seconds left, the Wildcats strike once again.
I want to see Wilson try an extra point. Maybe when they get a big enough lead, they'll try that.
So Sunnyside's going to go for 2, leading 20-0. Wide open receiver of the end zone. It is complete. And for the 22nd time this season, Sunnyside High has converted on a 2-point try.
That was Ethan Ross. He had enough time to pitch a tent and wait for that. He was all alone, right in the middle of the end zone.
So with 56 seconds left in the first half of play here at McLane Stadium, Sunnyside now with a 22-0 advantage.
And now, you know, you have to change his strategy a little bit. Last time the Highlanders, I thought, might get the ball. Thought, okay, let's be cautious. Don't let the game get out of hand. Now they're in a position where they may have to try. Maybe they should try for the end zone now because they're down by the 3 scores and they're not getting the ball to start the second half. So, you know, close your eyes and roll the dice now. That one onside kick changed the whole complexion of things.
And Fred, as you will recall, it didn't come as a surprise. The entire McLane coaching staff next to us here in the booth was screaming at the headsets for the players to be ready for the onside kick. They felt it was coming. Wilson, line drive kick.
Come on, baby, take it back, Desir.
And with a big upper body rugby tackle, Desir Newhouse is flung to the ground at about the 24-yard line.
Well, it's Sunnyside playing Sanger West, who's yet to taste victory this season. They look like they're going to end up at 8-2 and have a lot of momentum going into the playoffs, but this could be a completely different animal. They should be a pretty decent seed. But when you look back at those 2 losses early in the year, it's like, okay, which Sunnyside team do we have?
Well, and also look at that Roosevelt game.
And the Rough Riders are the best one-win team I've seen in a number of years.
Well, and I think we've talked about this. It's a huge tribute to the Roosevelt coaching staff that with the adversity they've had, those players continue to play hard week in and week out and all through all 4 quarters of their games.
And I look for them to win tonight and set up an interesting pig game at Ratcliffe Stadium next Friday night. We may or may not be covering that game. We may be back here at McLane for the Highlanders and Hoover.
Indeed, rivalry week coming up next week here in the city of Fresno. The annual pig game, Fresno High and Roosevelt, the oldest rivalry game in the city of Fresno. And there's a number of other rivalry games all around the valley.
Yeah, Clovis and Clovis West should be an interesting game. The Cougars are down a little bit this season. In Clovis West, they were unbeaten going into the game out at Central tonight. I picked Central to win that game. I'm not going to go into detail here, but Clovis and Clovis West, that'll be a good game to end the regular season next week. 44
seconds left. 1st and 10 for the Highlanders.
Another good game between two teams that are a little down this season. Edison, who's actually, this is a little bit better than they've had for the last few years. They're showing some signs of life. And the Bullard Knights, who are the defending Division II champions from last year, their record is 3-5 going out to Sanger tonight. And that's a surprise, and they'll play Edison next week. And that's always a big rivalry game. Looks like we may have another.
Well, you think of rivalry games all up and down the valley. You think of Mount Whitney and Redwood in Visalia, the Cowhide game. You think of the Milk Can game, Tulare Union, Tulare Western. Of course, the rivalry game in Porterville between Porterville High and Wenatchee High. There's some tremendous rivalries that go back decades here in the valley.
Over at Memorial, we have Memorial eking by Garza, 45-0 at the half. That'll be a moving clock, probably the entire second half.
So the officials trying to alert the clock operator to add 3 seconds to the clock, which they do. 37 seconds left here in the first half. The McLane High School band has already congregated in the east end zone to prepare for their halftime show.
Also on the west end.
That's right. That's right.
Did half of the band leave? Maybe they're not getting along.
Zamora with a give. That Newhouse stopped in the backfield.
Okay. Whistle blows, and did Sunnyside take a timeout here?
I think McLane has 1 left.
Yeah, I wouldn't know why the Highlanders would take. Yeah, the Highlanders took a timeout. I don't think I would have done that. I think it would have let the clock wind down, and then maybe go for a big play.
I'll tell you what's there for the Highlanders is if they utilize play action, that Z receiver is running wide open because the defenders for Sunnyside are biting on the handoff. And of course, that's what they've been doing so much is running the football.
Well, if our eyes in the sky here can catch up, maybe they can make an adjustment or two at halftime.
Right. 31 seconds left here. Big 3rd down and 8 play for the Highlanders. Need to get up to the 45-yard line, keeping it on the ground. And they are up, churning over the 45-yard line, and it looks as though they have a 1st down.
Well, maybe they can take your strategy into account now.
And they're going to keep the clock running. Down to 20 seconds here in the half.
The Highlanders look to be in no hurry.
A little surprising. You would think they would want to go into the half with something positive, and putting points on the scoreboard would be a great way to end the half, but they're going to let this half run out. 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and that does it. We have hit halftime here at McLane Stadium. And the Highlanders let the clock run down, and they're going to head to the locker room. Well, the officials are waving everybody back out onto the field. McLane had called a timeout.
Maybe they're going to go for just one last gasp play here.
So they're going to put 1 second back on the clock.
2 seconds.
Yes, there you go.
I haven't seen that in a while where the teams have been halfway to their halftime meeting spot and they've been called back like that.
Well, Fred, the beauty of high school football is you see something every time out that you've never seen before.
That's why we like coming out here.
That's right, that's right.
Last 2 seconds.
So with 2 seconds left in the half, the McLane Highlanders come back out for one final play. Then, of course, Sunnyside is going to go into a prevent defense and put all 4 defensive backs a good 30 yards back off the football. And after all that, the Highlanders simply take a knee. So the half is done.
I'm totally flummoxed by that.
So you see the score there on your screen. Sunnyside High, impressive in the first half. Leaders here, I should say, 22-0. And we've got another interesting half of football ahead. And we'll be back with that once we hear more about the doings and activities taking place at CMAC.
Fresno is building newer, safer bike lanes across the city. These protected cycle tracks provide a physical barrier between the bike lane and motor vehicle traffic, creating a safer cycling zone. These cycle tracks will instill confidence in riders, yet everyone on the road is still required to obey all traffic laws. Cyclists should still ride responsibly and exercise caution when riding in the protected lanes. For motorists, this means that the roads you've been driving on may be changing. Be on the lookout for new parking, driveway, and intersection changes. For residents and tenants on these changing roads, be aware that mail, trash, and parking locations may move as well. Fresno is excited to provide diverse transportation options to our residents. Sharing the road is easy. Learn more at fresno.gov/BPAC.
What if I told you there was one word commonly used to dehumanize Native American women, and that Webster's dictionary defines this word as offensive and outdated? What if I told you an entire town was named after this word? That word is squaw. My name is Roman Raintree, and I'm a member of the Dunlap Band of Mono Indians and Choinumni people. My mother, Gina Charlie, is my inspiration for working to rename our community. When we use language that degrades and dehumanizes people, it sends the message that their lives are not worth protecting. According to the National Congress of American Indian Policy Research Center, nearly half of Native American women report having experienced sexual violence, and over 1/3 will be raped in their lifetimes. In California, cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women are among the highest in the nation. Our towns and landmarks should be named after things and people we honor and celebrate. The routine use of an offensive slur is contrary to our shared values. Please join us and amplify our call to respect our community and end the use of this derogatory term for geographic naming. To learn more, visit the website below. Thank you.
One of the key goals of the project, Clean Shared Mobility Network, is to try and provide benefits to disadvantaged communities. In Fresno, that's Southwest, so that's our project area. We have a network of charging stations that we're installing throughout the disadvantaged communities. To date, so far, most of them have gone into Fresno Housing Authority sites, and we still are evaluating other sites, and we're getting recommendations and suggestions on where to site future charging stations. There's the car sharing. That program, it allows people, it's based on an app, and it allows people to basically rent a car for short periods of time. And those are typically people that don't even have a car. They're all electric, so that helps with the environment. The bike share.
Let's hear it once more. Highlander Nation, let's give them a big hand for that rousing performance. Your McLane Highlanders Marching Band.
In Southwest Fresno, it's just been this barren land forever, and trees are a representation that not only life is becoming involved into that particular area, but that there's a sense of care for people in that area. Now, the object itself may be small as a tree or as a small seed, but the symbolism of what it is, it's huge, because if you water that seed and if you water that tree, it grows into something that's huge.
All total, this project planted over 405 trees in Southwest Fresno, and it's just really made a lot of improvement in the area. This was part of the Southwest Urban Expansion Project as part of the TCC grant. You know, it was just specifically identified for this region that's underserved, some of the poorest air quality in the area. It really benefits the residents here, but it also benefits the businesses in the area. It benefits the air quality. So it's really a regional benefit, more so than just right here on this particular street. We're reconstructing the irrigation to modern irrigation systems that are drought tolerant. We're making sure that we're planting the correct tree in the correct place and the trees that are going to thrive in this environment.
All right, we're going to put a little dirt in.
It may seem small to others, but it's huge because of what it represents. It represents new beginning, a new beginning that one day will become a life change for so many people, especially in an area that's disenfranchised. There's transformation that's happening, and it's happening because of projects like this. So we're grateful for it. We can't wait to finally have some Kool-Aid under the shade.
You may have noticed new traffic signals on the road. These are pedestrian-activated signals, or HAWKs. These signals make it safer for pedestrians to cross busy streets. How are HAWKs different from conventional traffic signals? These are found in locations where children are likely to cross the street. Unlike green, yellow, red signals, the HAWK is only operational when activated by a pedestrian. When the lights are off, drivers may proceed with caution. When activated, the yellow light will flash, warning drivers to slow down. Then, the yellow light will turn solid, telling drivers to prepare to stop. The two solid red lights will tell drivers to stop completely for the pedestrians. Then the red lights will flash to let drivers know they can proceed with caution. The signal will then go dark until activated by the next pedestrian. When the walk symbol lights up and it is safe to do so, pedestrians can cross. Always look both ways before crossing. Sharing the road is easy. Learn more at fresno.gov/BPAC.
Hi everybody, this is Sarah.
And that's T, and we're Pedal Junkies.
And we're here to tell you all about Fresno County Bicycle Coalition.
The Fresno County Bicycle Coalition is an organization that promotes safe bicycling for everyday transportation and recreation in Fresno County. We do this by providing community events that promote safe cycling. We offer smart cycling classes, community rides, and bicycle advocacy all over the county of Fresno.
Want to know more about Fresno County Bicycle Coalition? Go to fresnobike.org and check it all out. See you in traffic.
Learn how to make videos at CMAC. Get more info at cmac.tv.
You are what you litter. Coffee cups, cigarette butts, food wrappers, soda cans. Litterheads are a major problem. But we all have a choice. Don't be a litterhead. One vision, one mission, one Fresno.
Together, we can beautify Fresno. Find out how at beautifyfresno.org.
What I love about CMAC is that they provide me with the knowledge,
the equipment, the space to express myself,
to amplify my voice,
to share my story. My story.
My story. Go to cmac.tv/mystory to learn more.
A community garden, it brings so much more than we even envisioned that it would bring. This is the Yosemite Village Community Garden and Urban Farm Incubator Program. This front part of the garden is the community garden. So there are spaces that community members can come out and check out for them to grow food for their own families. If they need coaching or they need help on what to plant in season or get access to seeds, we also help them do that. The other half of the property in the back, we have a farm incubator program where we work with farmers to give them a ½ acre of land so that they can start developing their own business plans. They can start farming and getting used to like farming at a little bit larger scale. Our farmer Miguel has been working in farm work labor for over 10 years and he had not had the opportunity to start his own business or to get the opportunity to manage his own operation. But he really has a passion for agriculture, and so that this is what he hopes to be doing full time.
You guys want to go for a walk?
We also go into the classrooms and teach in the classrooms, and then also bring kids from schools to the garden to learn here. We have volunteer days every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So if someone wants to start gardening and they don't feel like they know how to do it, or they're not comfortable with getting a garden space yet, but they want to learn, they can always come and join us during those times. Or if you're a future farmer looking for some space and some training and guidance, we have that program here too.
You may have noticed new symbols on the road. These are sharrows, or shared lane markings. They can be found in the through travel lane or the right turn lane. But what do they mean? Sharrows indicate a shared lane environment for bicycles and cars where a bike lane is not possible. For drivers, this means to be on the lookout for cyclists in the lane and to only pass cyclists in a safe manner for everyone on the road. For cyclists, this means you are allowed to ride in the full lane and should avoid the door zone of parked cars. For sharrows in the right turn lane, cyclists are allowed to continue straight through the intersection. Sharing the road is easy. Learn more at fresno.gov/BPAC.
We are the California Teaching Fellows Foundation, and we want next generation leaders like you to help us positively impact the lives of 40,000 K-12 youth. We hire and train over 2,000 college students to run high-quality morning and after-school programs, all while getting paid. As a teaching fellow, you will be a coach, a teacher, and a positive role model. College students, you don't want to miss this. Apply online and join Teaching Fellows today.
Today, nearly 1 million people in the United States are living with Parkinson's disease. My husband Mel is one of those people. I'm Patty, his wife and care partner. Early signs of Parkinson's can be subtle: a tremor in your hand, stiffness in your body, short shuffling steps when you walk. Know the signs and how to spot them in yourself or someone you love, and know what to do next. Early diagnosis and expert care can help manage symptoms and improve the quality of life for a person with Parkinson's. The Parkinson's Foundation is here for you. Learn more about the early signs and discover the free resources available for people with Parkinson's and those who love them at parkinson.org. Find answers and join us in the fight against Parkinson's.
Live production is different because you don't have that leniency of saying, oh, we'll just go back and edit it. What you see is what the audience is gonna see.
It's hard at first because you don't really know what to do, but it's definitely easy to catch on. I mean, you learn pretty quickly. I mean, the people around here are very helpful. It's a team effort, so everyone kind of learns a little bit of everything just from watching and doing.
When I show up to a live CMAC production, I know for a fact that I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to learn new skills. I'm going to get better at the skills that I already know. Overall, I'm just going to come out of it better than I was before.
On this type of production, team means not only like having a leader there, but also having friends, like multiple friends. Everybody's willing to help you out and listen. The staff.
Welcome back to McLane Stadium as the Sunnyside High Wildcats on top at halftime by a score of 22-0 over the McLane Highlanders. Teams back out on the field for the start of the second half. Dan Taylor The coach, Fred Clark, with you. Fred, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, pretty much as we figured there, Dan. McLean had to play mistake-free football, take advantage of opportunities. They were really able to do neither. They got a first down on the first play from scrimmage. That was all they had offensively the first half. They had a touchdown called back on their second play from scrimmage. And other than that, it's been all Wildcats.
As McLean will be kicking off, and both teams are set up for the second half kickoff. Sunnyside will get the football first. Then it's a line drive kick that is just going to be downed by a Wildcat at the 30-yard line. So Sunnyside will begin the second half with the football, attempting to pad that 22-point lead. First quarter, their offense struggled somewhat, but seemed to open things up more in the second quarter. Their first touchdown was a pick six.
It's pretty good when your offense struggles a little bit and you're still ahead 22-0 at the half.
Tanner Wilson, the quarterback, with the give. Daquan Jones, the running back, around the far side, plenty of room. Picks up 15 yards on the first play of the second half.
Handoff is to Daquan Jones. Noah Zamora with the stop. New set of downs for the Wildcats.
And just like that, they're operating from the 45-yard line.
I was trying to pick up a few scores at halftime, and for the most part, it was unsuccessful.
Wilson with a quick shot. Ross, the receiver, manages to get across midfield.
Wilson completing to Sanjay Burton.
Brought down at about the 48-yard line.
Newhouse with the tackle.
McLean's defense, they have been on the field for a long time that second quarter.
Daquan Jones up near the first down marker, and it would appear that he has crossed the 45 and has the first down.
Handoff is to Jones. It's a one picking up the first.
And the whistles blow on the snap. We've got a penalty.
Yeah, the Highlanders didn't get that 12th man off the field in time.
And that's going to give the Wildcats another 5 yards. Something the Highlanders can ill afford to be giving away. And the football is moved down to the McLean 39-yard line.
Well, first down. Dan, one of my predictions, I predicted Central to knock Clovis West from the ranks of the undefeated, and they're doing so 38-0 out at Collegian Stadium.
Interesting.
Clovis High's handling Clovis East also this evening.
Wilson going to go up top. Can't find a receiver. Now he's going well deep, and he's got a man in and out of his hands. That one had touchdown written all over it.
It certainly did. It hit him in the hands. Got another flag down.
Wilson looking for Burton. Pass ball's incomplete.
An eligible receiver downfield.
Penalty on that last play.
Clovis North has the edge over Buchanan in the fourth quarter. It's not else. What do we have? 28-21 right now.
Already in the fourth quarter?
Already in the fourth quarter. The games in the Tri-River have been starting at 6:30. So their kickoffs are a little bit ahead of us.
So first down from the 44-yard line. Wilson to the weak side. Tosses to Jones, and he breaks free, has the first down, out of bounds at the 28.
And he just sidestepped it. Highlander defender was coming at like a runaway train, and he just sidestepped him. Madera South has come back to lead Hoover 20-14, but the Patriots are still in the game there in the third quarter.
So first and 10 for the Wildcats, ball at the 29-yard line. Wilson going for it all. Leaping grab, did he get into the end zone? Waiting for a signal. And he was out of bounds. Terrific leaping grab by the receiver, but unfortunately for the Wildcats and their fans, it was hauled down just out of bounds.
The Sanger Apaches have the lead on Bullard, I think it was 19-7.
So 2nd and 10 for Sunnyside. Wilson on the run, has a receiver inside the 20-yard line before he's forced out of bounds.
That was Ross again. Well, the Wildcats, everybody's healthy now. They're really, I think this is the first time this season where they've really had everybody together. You know, they're a little bit rusty, but they're catching on now.
Well, this is the time of year when you want to do it.
Yep.
The big first down at the 17-yard line. Give goes to Daquan Jones. He's got room.
Rip it. Tell him to rip that ball out.
And down he goes to about the 14-yard line.
Handoff is to the ball carrier. Team of multiple.
And the wind is kicked up here at Sunnyside, or at McLane Stadium. Seemed to pick up at halftime.
Yeah, there was nothing going on there before the game, but the weather is changing, and next week we're probably going to have sweatshirts on, Dan.
I would agree. Wilson looks for a receiver, throws to the back of the end zone where he's got a wide open Malachi Barnes. Correction. Sanjay Burton, the receiver.
I had Barnes catching that too. We were both wrong. We can use the excuse of the numbers on the back of the uniforms are a little smaller than usual.
Well, as he maneuvered around, the defenders reacted, and that left Sanjay Burton wide open in the back of the end zone. This time, they go for the single point, and the attempt is blocked. So that will leave our score at 28-0 here with 8:37 to play in the third quarter.
I was incorrect. We have Sanger ahead of Bullard 28-6 at the half. And this Sanger team this is an outfit that's really turned it around. They started off 1-3, and now it looks like they're cruising to their fourth straight game. And I believe they host San Joaquin Memorial next week, which Sanger's shown signs of life. And they've got more size on their team than I've seen in quite a while. It just, with a new coaching staff, things changed around a little bit. But the Apaches may be looking up again.
So the touchdown pass hikes the Sunnyside lead to 28-0 here at McLane Stadium tonight. Tanner Wilson needing a tee before he's able to kick off.
Yeah, that onside kick, you know, both Wilson and Vang were going to that, and Vang's the one that actually made the kick. I thought for a bit that Wilson had made the kick, but that was a slick operation that they did.
Coming even after a penalty. And that was really a roll of the dice to come up with an onside kick there, but it worked. They got it. They ultimately scored. Tanner Wilson, a line drive kick, will be fielded at the 25-yard line. He's got blockers. He's got running room up over the 45 to the 47 before being hauled down.
And good field position for the Highlanders. It's only the third time in the game that they've been close to this. And we have a flag, late flag being thrown in the vicinity that would indicate somebody probably said something that wasn't very nice.
We will soon find out.
Got a personal foul, face mask, defense be 15 yards from the end of the run.
You heard from Sean Schaefer's mic, face mask penalty on Sunnyside. That was a late flag.
Well, and an additional 15 yards will put them the deepest in Sunnyside territory that they have been all night. 28-0 our score, 8:26 to play in the third quarter here from McLane Stadium. And the penalty will place the football at the 37-yard line.
The Highlanders had to run about 25 yards from their huddle up to the new line of scrimmage. Is it just me, or does it seem like they've been huddling a little bit further back than necessary?
It does. It does seem that way. You're right. You're right. Noah Zamora from the shotgun. He's going to try and go to the air, looking for a receiver. And you know what we talked about even more at halftime, Fred, was how McLane has run so much that the minute that quarterback starts to move, those defensive backs are coming up, playing the run, and the receivers, and we saw it there, receiver, the minute Zamora started to run to the right, defensive back came up, receiver was running clear down the field. If he had unleashed it, but that's easier said from up here than it is performed from down there.
Yeah, when you have a high school quarterback running for his life. Yeah, they're really cheating up there. Everyone's close, and the Highlanders seem to jump there, and that was caught.
Penalty flag thrown. Run picks up about 6 yards.
And that will bring back that gain.
This is their Newhouse, the ball carrier. Now they're going to wave off the flag.
Okay, I guess, did Sunnyside decline it or what?
No, it was waved after the conference.
He clearly moved.
Yeah.
But okay, we'll take it.
Highlander Hype Nation, make some noise for your offense.
So 3rd and 7 for the Highlanders. Ball to the 34-yard line.
On that field, make some noise, Highlanders.
Zamora, boy, a big rush, but he's got the band. Cuts up near the first down flag.
Well, still moving.
And with the momentum, it looks as though he has crossed the 25-yard line.
Pass is complete.
Initial first down this half.
Good enough for another McLane Highlanders first down.
That was a decent run. He was not going to be denied. He kept his legs churning on that, and something good happened.
So big first down for the Highlanders down to the 25-yard line. Now they are trying to get that 0 off their side of the scoreboard. 28-0. Sunnyside on top here with 6:30 to play in the 3rd quarter from McLane Stadium. Highlanders hustling up at the line of scrimmage.
First and 10. The 25.
Firing into the end zone, but well over the head of his intended receiver.
Yeah, that play had no chance.
Looking for Desir Newhouse.
Zamora didn't really have a lot of time to set up back there.
Desir Newhouse, the intended receiver from McLane. So 2nd and 10 for the Highlanders.
Well, Sanger West is hanging with Roosevelt to a point. It's 25-12 out there late in the 3rd quarter.
Gibb going to the back, and he is still spinning, churning, and he's up near the 15-yard line. A potential first down for the Highlanders.
Taking Wildcat tacklers with him wherever he goes.
That's Singselin, and that was his 2nd impressive run like that. He does not want to be denied.
Indeed, a first down for the Highlanders. We've got a Highlander player down.
Injury timeout on the field.
Roman Guadino.
And the athletic trainers hustling onto the field to tend to him. And the way they're stretching him out, it would appear that the young man is suffering from a cramp.
Well, it's not heat related, at least tonight.
But we've seen that with McLane a couple of times that we have done their games.
And when we had their game earlier with Fresno High, that 4th quarter, both teams seemed like every play somebody was going down, but it was a pretty warm night.
It was a warm night, indeed. Much different than tonight, that's for sure.
And I still haven't sold the coaches on my pickle juice theory.
Oh, I'm sure somebody's probably gone and looked it up, Fred.
Dude, what is that wacky old man talking about?
Oh, gosh. Well, we have some great sponsors that make this possible, make it possible for us to bring high school football your way here on CMAC. And, of course, one that we're certainly appreciative of is the State Center Community College District. This game is brought to you in part by State Center Community College District, covering Fresno, Reedley, Oakhurst, Madera, and Clovis. Thank you, State Center Community College District, for your support.
This is the deepest penetration the Highlanders have made tonight.
Keeping it on the ground, but that play is going to be whistled to a halt.
Penalty marker on the field.
And the
McLane
Highlanders
5 yards back, repeat, first down.
Moved before they were supposed to, so that's going to march them back 5 yards. And
it's been an issue with the Highlanders tonight because they've called them a few times, and a couple of times they've, clearly been in motion and hasn't been called.
Pushes the line of scrimmage back to the 20-yard line.
From the 20. Your Highlander offense is in the red zone.
Going to go to the air. He's got a man who's beaten the defender. Leaps for the football, and it's deflected to the turf. Incomplete.
Opportunity there. That ball was right where it's supposed to be. You got to bring those in.
Indeed. He had managed to get a couple of steps behind that defender. Ball hung up there just a little bit.
Enough time to get that hand in and disrupt it.
So second down and 15. Quick pass. He's got blocking set up, and he's got the end zone in front of him. Touchdown, McLane.
It was Jordan Stewart, bought that one in.
Touchdown, Highlanders! That's Noah Zamora connecting with Jordan Stewart for the touchdown.
Well, just under 5 minutes left, and maybe that'll breathe some life into the Highlanders. A lot of these guys are playing both ways, so it's not like the defense gets to rest a heck of a lot, but it does give a little bit of oomph, so they do have some life left.
28-6 our score as the Highlanders set up for the extra point. Jordan Stewart taking that quick out, and boy, the blocking was set up for him very nicely, and he had a nice open path into the end zone for McLane's first touchdown of this ball game.
And the Highlander kicking game hasn't been that bad, but they're going to opt to go for two here.
And Zamora, he's going to keep it, and he is wrapped up almost immediately, and he is flung to the turf. So the extra point attempt fails, and it's a 28-6 game here at McLane Stadium.
There were 8 Wildcats in the vicinity of that football.
Your Highlanders are on the board. Sunnyside 28, McLane 6.
Well, we'll see if McLane's defense can get a stand, or maybe we'll see something unusual on this kickoff.
So the shutout is averted. The Highlanders on the board, and we'd love to get more here. 28-6 our score. 4:58 left in the third quarter from McLane Stadium.
Score update from the OYL. End of the third quarter. Madera South leading Hoover 20-14.
So are you pooching? Are you line driving? Are you onsiding? What are you thinking as a special teams coach here?
I'm going to onside. No pooch kick, just a flat-out onside kick that they should have been working on. That wasn't it. But that's my favorite kind of pooch kick.
He's got room to run, now tries to reverse direction, and he's wrestled down to the turf at the 45-yard line.
That was Vang again. You have those good hands, man. He's an impressive player.
He is. Backup quarterback, defensive back. Had the first touchdown of the night on the pick six back in the first quarter. Snaring that interception at the 11-yard line and taking it in. So Sunnyside will start this drive from their own 45-yard line. Tanner Wilson, C.J. Jones. He's got blockers.
Get it, strip that ball out.
Steps out of bounds right near midfield.
Wilson completing to Jones. Stewart forcing him out of bounds. Gains half the yardage needed for the first. 2nd and 5. The ball right at midfield.
Nose of the football at the 50-yard line. 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats. They give to Jones. He's got blockers, and he is up beyond the McLane 45, down about the 43-yard line with a Sunnyside first down.
The handoff is to Daquan Jones, picking up the necessary yardage for the first down.
Three receivers, top of the screen. Wilson hits C.J. Jones, slips. Trying to find running room, dodging, dancing, down to the 35-yard line.
Well,
correction, that was Barnes on the receiving end.
The Wildcats still look energized, and the Highlanders right now, a lot of their players are just looking gassed out there, Dan.
Yeah, the timing is really good. They're moving quickly.
Doubles.
Two
It's
receivers
hard
on
to
either
get set.
side. Wilson, he wants to unleash this football. And he's going to take off running. First down, now to the 25, 20, and he's going to step out of bounds at about the 16. Wilson does so much damage, whether it be with that powerful right arm or those fleet legs.
Yeah, it makes a 20-yard gain pretty much look like nothing. And he just instinctively finds the open spot. Knows when to cut in. Real impressed by Wilson tonight.
Strikes me as a quarterback who would excel in the run and shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Rolling to the near side.
Get him!
Has to throw it away as he was under intense pressure. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Pass is out of bounds.
Yeah, you just get the impression when the Wildcats have a 2nd and 10, it's no big deal.
Exactly. You're not sitting here thinking they've got to get to the 2 to get into the first down. You're thinking the way they operate, they're looking end zone.
Running back.
Wilson throws it deep to the back of the end zone, hauled in, but well out of the end zone. Pass incomplete, brings up 3rd down.
Touchdown!
Oh, okay. I see why it was a touchdown. The official initially thought that the painted, was out of the end zone, and it's the green back there. So he was clearly in.
He's way out of bounds.
No, you're right. He was even with the goalpost back there, which is the green is in bounds.
Okay, here we.
DJ, he's way out of bounds. I don't know.
No, the green is inbounds, and he was able to haul it in there in the green alongside the base of the goalpost.
We don't have that on replay, but
But that was confusion to the official.
Yeah.
Who saw the red, as you pointed out, Fred, and thought that since he was on the green. Let's take another look. Here's another look from the back. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, okay.
He was in the green there.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah, I think he got both feet in the green here.
So the touchdown makes it a 34-6 game, and it appears they were going to go for a single point rather than.
Well, they got to work on that kicking game.
Never know when it might be important down the road.
Is this Malachi Barnes there?
Oh, fake,
no, they are. They have faked it. Wilson has his man complete, and for the 23rd time this season, Sunnyside High is converted on a 2-point attempt.
I know you're not going to believe this, Dan, but I was thinking, you know, you got Wilson as a holder. It's like having Wilson as the punter. You've got a lot of things that can happen. I thought that would.
You're absolutely right.
I think that would have been one that they would have preferred use in a more key situation.
So the Wildcats scoring with 2:27 to play here in the third quarter from McLane Stadium, and it's now a 36-6 game.
Okay, we got one of our first fan acknowledgments on my phone right now. I mean, that's the first one we've gotten in like 5 years. Usually they're a little bit less positive.
I didn't think your brother had moved to Fresno yet.
He would have been one of the negative ones.
Oh, okay.
Clovis North apparently is beat Buchanan 28-21. Central, as we mentioned, annihilated Clovis West 45-0. So number 1 and number 2 both went down tonight.
And before I forget, I should mention great job to the camera crew there on the end zone camera and the guys in the truck for noticing it, because there was a lot of question up here in the booth. A lot of the coaches were concerned that maybe that was not a touchdown, and conclusively got a look at the receiver snagging it, getting the feet down on the green back there at the back of the end zone for a touchdown. So nice camera work. These are students from McLane High operating the cameras here tonight, and our compliments for their work, and the guys in the truck for teaching them, bringing them along, and that's what CMAC is all about.
And making us look a little bit better.
Absolutely. Well, so the Highlanders will begin this possession from the 20-yard line, trailing by 30 points. 2:27 left here in the third quarter.
That's what happens when you kick deep. You put the team at their own 20 instead of give it to them at the between the 35 and the 40 on one of those inane pooch kicks.
Zamora. Oh, that's exactly what we've been looking for all night long. And it's going to go for, he dropped the football.
Wide open. We'll have to see this one again. He had 10 yards on the closest man.
And Gordon Wood, the Sunnyside coach, went out onto the field to pat that young man and tell him to hang in there. He had done a terrific job of getting open, and the ball just slipped right through his hands incomplete.
Yeah.
But we had talked about that all night long. As you see, a little fake pass to the back, and he went deep, had his man wide open. He had managed to run past the defenders, and the ball slipped through his hands.
One of those other plays that he will remember for the rest of his life.
In motion, going Newhouse. He has the football, and he is going to be wrestled down for a loss of a couple of yards.
Brings up a 3rd and 12. Something like that, Dan, is so deflating. You know, when you look, you're already counting the 6 points. Okay, what are we going to do now? We're going to go for 2 and all of that. You're thinking all these things as the ball is taking its first.
Well, you could hear
ground.
Throughout the stands. You could hear that roar beginning, that cheer beginning, that excitement of the long touchdown taking place, only to have it turn into groans as the ball hit the turf. And we don't want to make the young man feel bad as he watches this later, but it's just one of those things that happens in the sport of football.
Oh, wow.
And Zamora now under pressure, but he's got Newhouse out of the backfield. Picks up about 7, maybe 8 yards, but he's going to be well short of the first down.
Look for a second like he might be able to break in a little bit and maybe get first down yardage, but now all these ifs and buts are going to be a punt, I think.
4th and 5 with the clock ticking down, 1:04 remaining here in the third quarter. Time is whistled, and Sunnyside uses their first timeout of the second half.
They may be trying to prepare. I doubt if the Highlanders are going to try any type of fake here, but maybe that's what coaches Wood and Wilson are going to be preparing his guys for. Just let them kick.
Know if you're McLane, you're really in a tough spot because you're running out of opportunities, down by 30 points. But at the same time, you're at your own 25-yard line. And if a fake doesn't materialize, well, you're almost handing Sunnyside another 6, 7, 8 points.
Yeah.
Another live score. Also presumably in the fourth. Roosevelt Roughriders 25.
I think for the most part, Dan, coaches, I get the playing with a running clock when you get to that 35-point threshold, but it doesn't really do anybody any good except maybe keep the score down, because you still want your guys on the bench. You want them getting touches. And whether you're winning or losing the game, you want, especially some of the guys that don't get in a heck of a lot, what we will call a garbage time, was a time for a lot of those guys to get in, and they work their tails off in practice. And if you can get in for a couple of plays, that makes all of that sweat that you put out worthwhile. But we also don't like to have games that end up 75-0, because that doesn't do anybody any good either.
57 seconds left. 4th and 5 for McLane. And after all that, we've got a player coming on late.
Apparently they're going for it.
Out of the shotgun, and we've got a Highlander, or a Sunnyside Wildcat who jumped on the interior line, and that's going to give McLane 5 more yards and a first down.
And if this would have been a close game, the Wildcat coaching staff would have been beside themselves, as when it's a 3rd or a 4th down and there's 5 or less yards to go, you've got to move with the ball. And you see this at every level. You see it a heck of a lot more at this level.
So big first down for the Highlanders as the clock continues to tick. 38 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
It'll be 1st and 10 for your Highlander offense. Ball on the 30.
Zamora barking out the signals. He's going to throw it. Quick pass, caught, gain of about 3 yards.
It's kind of a dangerous pass to throw, when you're, the best thing that's going to happen is you're going to get 3 or 4 yards, and there's a lot of worse things that could happen.
Well, you've got to get a lot of zip on those out passes.
Yeah, that hung up a little bit.
And those defenders can close very quickly, as we saw back in the first quarter. That ends the third quarter of play now. And our score 36-6, Sunnyside on top, as the Wildcats attempting to go to 6-0 in North Yosemite League play with 1 game remaining next week.
Well, I'm going to mention something. We're going to go back to that offsides that the Wildcats have. Several years ago, there was a playoff game, and I'm not going to mention who was playing because it involved a good friend of mine that is a line coach, which is pretty much giving it away already. But in this playoff game, 5 times in this game, their opponent had a 3rd or a 4th down with less than 5 yards, and my buddy's line jumped off sides, and it clearly affected the game. I mean, your defense looks like they're just about to get off the field, and then that happens, and the whole sideline is like, oh man, it happened again. And these things will happen once, maybe twice, but past then, it's just, it's a really bad habit. And okay, so my buddy out there, if you're watching the game, I didn't totally throw you under the bus.
2nd down 7 from the 33-yard line. Delayed draw right up the middle. Might have gained a couple more yards.
And manageable 3rd down. And if they don't get the first down on this, it might give them an opportunity to try another long count.
Inching closer to the 1st down marker. Still 3 yards short.
So it'll make it 3rd and 3.
From their own 37.
Something else, you see this happen in college. A lot of the times on that type of situation, the offensive line will charge out, everybody runs to the line, and then they have a quick hard count and they jump. And it takes a lot of discipline not to do that.
Quick out. Newhouse.
I think he's going to be about a half a yard short there.
Very, very close, but they're
Good enough for another.
spotting it at the 41-yard line, which is enough for a first down for the Highlanders. .10:50 remaining in this game. 36-30, Sunnyside on top.
Madera South did avoid the humiliation and came back and defeated Hoover 35-21, but a competitive show by the Patriots.
Sets up the new rivalry game of the two newest schools in Madera, Madera South and Torres High, next Friday night.
Torres was impressive last night, shutting down Fresno High 35-0 in a game that wasn't as close as the score would indicate.
So an additional 5 yards. And so that would be for second place next week.
Yep.
Torres and Madera South.
Yeah, both 5-1 now. The Highlanders appear to be slipping to 3-3 tonight.
Up near midfield, very close to a first down.
That's Singselin again.
Pearson, Singselin. Powering through the Sunnyside.
Limping just a little bit as he returns to the huddle. 9:50 to go, 36-6. Our score from McLane Stadium. Sunnyside High looking to go 6-0 in North Yosemite League play, and for all intents and purposes, lock up the North Yosemite League title once again.
Yeah, they're not going to be losing to Sanger West next week.
Well, and you look at the bulk of their key players are sophomores. They only have 6 seniors on this team. And McLane wants to take a timeout.
Timeout called on the field.
Their first of the second half.
And that was kind of bad. I had a twisted hearing aid in the left ear. That's what that whistle was.
Aha.
Memorial finished Garza off. That was 51-6, but it was 6-6 in the second half. So Garza continued to play hard against Memorial, who had really taken their foot off the gas.
Games up and down the valley beginning to wind down tonight.
That Clovis North defeating Buchanan, it would seem to be a surprise, but North has gotten better as the season has went along, and that is a real physical football team. They have a real good power offense, and they like to bring it right at you, and they're not going to be an easy out for anybody in the playoffs.
So 2nd down and 1 for McLane. Just need to push the football across midfield.
My occasional beer drinking buddy Vince Bramstetter, the former coach at Roosevelt, is the OC out at Clovis North, and he has done a really good job assisting with the program out there.
This way.
Well, suddenly from 2nd and 1, it goes to 2nd and 6 for the Highlanders.
Still 2nd down.
Yeah, the Highlanders, they can't really get a rhythm going offensively. You know, you get that 2nd one and you like to have 2nd and short, and then this sort of thing happens, and it's happened frequently tonight.
Zamora going up top, has a man, has it complete to the 30, wrestled down at the 25-yard line. Big gain for the Highlanders.
It was Kylan Worthy, I think, managed to pull that in.
They'll spot it at the 26-yard line of the Wildcats.
Good enough for another McLane Highlanders first down.
Well, the Highlanders, you know, they got a bounce in their step right now, too. All right, let's make this look respectable.
Give goes to the man in motion, fakes a pass, looks to cut back, change directions, and Newhouse looked to gain 4, maybe 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, not bad. It looked like initially that was going to be caught for a couple-yard loss. It ended a little bit better than it started.
Clock continues to run, 8:32 in the fourth quarter. 36-6 our score. Give to the back, goes nowhere.
And that fooled no one there.
Lost a couple of yards on the play. 7 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in this game. And it's 3rd and 9 for the Highlanders.
Brings up 3rd down.
Zamora, he's going to tuck it and run.
Got about 4 on that, would appear.
Brings up a 4th down and about 5.
Zamora on the keeper. DeAndre Johnson out of bounds. Short of the 1st down marker by 4 yards. It's 4th and 4. Ball right on the
Zamora coming back in with a play. 6:54. That it's 4th and 4. Ball resting on the 20-yard line of the Sunnyside High Wildcats. Little play action. Short toss. They've got the 1st down and then some. Down inside the 10, down to about the 5 and maybe the 2-yard line.
That was Castaneda again. Had a good head of steam when he got the ball and was able to make some good positive yardage.
Move those chains. Another McLane Highlanders.
About the 3-yard line. Don't get too fancy now.
Indeed, 1st and goal now from the 3 for the Highlanders.
Highlander offense. Ball on the 3.
6 minutes remaining in this game. 36-6 our score. Wildcats packing the box, playing up tight on the receivers. Give. Back is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. May have gained a yard.
That was Sing Solon again, and that's the exact play I would run 2 more times. The Highlanders do not have a lot of advantage on speed going to the outside. I like that call.
2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. .5:10 remaining in the game. Some confusion. Now the Highlanders are set. Give goes to the 1st back through. Tries to break a tackle, loses the football, and Sunnyside has recovered. McLane lost the football at the 1-yard line, and Sunnyside has recovered. So with 4:45 left in this ball game, hope has run out for the McLane Highlanders.
Yeah, tough situation there for the Highlanders. They get a touchdown there, and it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look like as bad. When you just score single digits, there's just something that they could have built on if they could have got into the end zone there, Dan.
So the Wildcats take possession with the football on the 1-yard line.
And the one thing that you do not want is a turn. You never want a turnover, but in this case, it's just a tough situation for the young men.
Starting back from their own 1.
Hey, 18's in, DJ.
.445 on the clock here at McLane Stadium. 36-6 our score. Sunnyside on top, and the Wildcats with the football, operating out of their end zone as the ball rests on the 1-yard line. Tanner Wilson steps up, looking to throw, tackled at the 1. Wanted to unload that ball deep.
Highlanders had 4 men back in coverage. And I think Wilson, he didn't want to throw it up for grabs. They were outnumbered.
I was a little surprised they didn't run Daquan Jones off tackle. They have been able to do that so successfully all night long.
Get a little bit of room anyway.
Wilson throwing, complete.
Good coverage here by the Highlanders. Didn't let his man get away.
Just like that, it's 3rd down.
So Roosevelt Wildcats defeating the Sanger West Hornets by a score of 26-6.
Hey, I think they called timeout.
Well, the Sunnyside Wildcats elect to call timeout with 3:41 remaining in the game.
Timeout called on the field. Timeout
Leaves them with just 1 timeout to use.
Timeout they've taken this half.
McLane with 2 left. McLane has them pinned. 3rd and 6 with the football on the 5-yard line. Gordon Wood talking strategy with his young men.
35-21.
And 3rd and 10 for Sunnyside, even being in the shadows of their own goal post. I don't think that they really have a heck of a lot to worry about at this point. You know, looking at the NYL standings, you know, the results of tonight's game, this is just as I would have picked them going in for the season. I have Roosevelt ahead of Fresno High, and I thought they may jump McLane. It's still a possibility they could end up tied with McLane. I doubt if Hoover will beat McLane next week, but they have a possibility. The Patriots have been playing a little bit better the last couple of weeks. They may. I don't think they're going to
double reverse. A double reverse, and there's plenty of room.
And he's going
1st down.
He's going a ways.
All the way out to the 39-yard line before C.J. Jones is wrestled down.
37-yard gain, and how many double reverses do you see coming out of the end zone?
That's why everybody hates Gordon Woods. Right there.
That takes courage.
Worthy and McMillan the 3rd, the tacklers. More than enough for the Sunnyside 1st down.
C.J. Jones on the run, bringing it all the way out to the 40-yard line. And we have a McLane player in the defensive backfield down.
Be T.J. McMillan. Looks like another cramp here, Dan.
So the Wildcats will head toward the sideline, gather around their head coach, Gordon Wood. The double reverse, bringing the football all the way out from the goal line up to the 40-yard line.
Start contacting your parents to be picked up as soon as the game is over. Once again, McLane Highlander students, now is the time to start contacting your parents.
3:05 left on the scoreboard. 36-6, Sunnyside on top here. They're about to improve their league record to 6-0.
The Clovis Cougars really put a beating on Clovis East tonight, 56-34, high-scoring game out at La Monica. And The Cougars may be finding their beat right about now. They gave Buchanan a scare last week, and they get Clovis West in that rivalry game next week. That should be interesting.
Jones wrestled down at the line of scrimmage. Clock now at 2:50 remaining in the game.
Handoff is to Daquan Jones.
And here's a game that really surprises me. We don't talk much about teams over on the coast, but St. Joe's and Lompoc, who play in our playoff section now, they're at 34 each. I had St. Joe's winning that game by 3 touchdowns. Lompoc's pretty good, but I didn't think they'd be able to hang with St. Joe's.
Wilson firing, complete to Burton, across midfield down to the 48-yard line.
Tanner Wilson completing to Tyron Bree. Damien Yotu with the tackle.
Tyron Cree, the receiver on the play. So operating with another first down. Wilson with a keeper, and he's just going to go down and take the loss of about 4 yards.
Had a collision here too. 3 guys went down, 2 Wildcats and a Highlander.
Wilson goes down.
Now,
Jesse Martinez.
Penalty flag thrown in the defensive backfield.
Loss of 4 on the play, 7-14. The ball is on the Sunnyside 37.
illegal substitution.
So with a minute 48 to play, the Sunnyside High cheerleaders, as you might be able to hear, chanting "This game's over."
That's kind of a new thing now.
A little bit like soccer in England, where a team having a poor season is getting beat and the opposing fans start singing songs directed at the opposing head coach. "You'll be sacked in the morning." Deep ball by Wilson, headed for the end zone, but it's out of bounds.
A little bit of contact there. Yeah, I watch a lot of that Premier League, particularly during the football off season, and you get a lot of that. The songs aren't always the same. You have songs of jubilation and you have songs of mockery, both equally amusing.
Minute 13 remaining in the game. Second out and 10. Wilson given to Jones, and he's got room to ramble down to about the 26-yard line before he's brought down.
Jones, the ball carrier.
The Wildcats are definitely not in slow down mode. It's not their MO to slow down at any time during the game.
Jones again. Stopped after about a gain of 2.
Jones on the carry again.
But it's going to be fourth down at about 3 yards, and we've got an injured McLane player. Grabbing that left knee as the athletic trainers hustle over from the sideline.
Gives the Wildcats an opportunity, to design their fourth down play.
26 seconds left on the clock.
See what they drop in the dirt over there.
And actually what's very interesting is the Wildcats, and I don't know if this is sportsmanship or but they are lining up at the 50-yard line. And teams line up at the 50-yard line to go out and do a post-game handshake with the opposition. And the Sunnyside players, all but the 11 who are out on the field and in the game at this time, have already gone and lined up on their sideline at the 50 to go over and shake hands with the McLane players.
As Jess Martinez slowly walking off the field. Seems to be okay now.
And the officials giving the signal to start the clock. And the teams are just going to go ahead, I believe, and walk it off. And indeed they are. Sunnyside will come over to their sideline as the clock will wind down. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this game as the horn sounds on the scoreboard here at McLane Stadium. And the Sunnyside High Wildcats victorious 36-6. They run their North Yosemite League leading record to 6-0 now, with 1 game remaining in the season. As you see the two teams at midfield. So Fred, interesting game tonight, but sets the stage for some interesting finales next week.
Yeah, some interesting games we have. And with this one, Sunnyside was clearly the superior team out here. There were a few things that happened with McLane early that could have kept them in the game a little bit longer. But, you know, it was just a matter of Sunnyside just having a little bit too much, a lot of speed and a lot of talent. And the Highlanders hung in there. They played with some grit towards the end. Wildcats were just too much for them tonight.
So Sunnyside now at 6-0 in league play. They've all, for all intents and purposes, locked up the North Yosemite League crown. They play the team at the opposite end of the standings next week, Hanford West.
Yeah, they will not be challenged in that game at all. And Sunnyside's in a good position right now. Rest a lot of your guys next week. Get some of your guys that are back up some good experience, and then get ready to go into the playoffs with a head of steam. And with the Highlanders, they have Hoover next week, and McLane's now 4-5. They have a good opportunity to end up 5-5, and they're a better team than they were last year. They ended up 5-5 last season, but this is a much better team. Coach Pancotti's doing a good job of getting more players out and really busting it. I mean, they played hard up until the end, and so you got something to hang your hat on.
So that'll wrap it up here for the North Yosemite League football tonight on CMAC from McLane Stadium. Thanks to the crew in the truck, the McLane students running camera tonight. It's been a fun night here at McLane Stadium, and we've got the season finale next week. Join us at 7:30 next Friday night here on CMAC for more high school football. For the coach Fred Clark, I'm Dan Taylor. Thanks for tuning in. Good night, everybody.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Hendricks Chevrolet, celebrating 75 years in the Valley, and State Center Community College District, covering Fresno, Reedley, Oakhurst, Madera, and Clovis. Thank you for your support.
Clean up all this.